Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother...
Welcome to the party, pal!
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Classic. I'm Ralph Quartucci.
I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Deborah Murphy.
I'm Michelle Wojciechowski. You can call me Wojo or not. Whatever.
I'm Brad Barowie.
I'm John Ajax Quattrucci.
And I'm Drew.
All right, John Ajax. I'm
Gold.
not sure.
His last name is Gold if you want to look it up, people.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce for some people, though.
I am not sure how quick I'm going to mute you, John, if you keep this Warriors thing going. But all right.
It's a bit, Ralph. It's just a bit.
It's a hell of a bit.
Just a bit.
Let him bit.
Thank you, Drew.
What
You're
year did that
welcome,
come out? 79?
I think so.
Okay. Before we talk about the film that I brought to the table, we'll do a little round robin of what you watch. I didn't really see anything because I was away for a few days this week, so we'll just skip me. We'll start with John.
I'm sure you saw something.
Ajax, what'd you watch this week?
I watched this movie called The Warriors that I just love. Warriors, come on. But seriously, I got interested in the show on Netflix called I'm Sorry. It stars Andrea Savage, who's a stand-up comedian, Tom Everett Scott from That Thing You Do. It's produced by Will Ferrell and
His partner.
Andy Samberg.
Ferrell or Farrell?
Ferrell. Will Ferrell. Isn't that his
Ferrell
name?
or Farrell?
So anyway.
Sounds like you're saying Farrell.
So anyway.
Is it Farrell Fawcett?
The guy from Anchorman.
Okay. That's Will Ferrell.
And it's really funny. She's really funny in it. I've watched a season and 2 episodes. It's really it's all about her. Everyone else is just kind of a side character, including the husband, to bounce the punchlines off of. But it's very raunchy. It's R-rated. They're a couple with 1 kid, and she's a comedy writer in the show. But it's so raunchy. But she's great, and she was in those TV show episodes. I think she played the agent's ex-wife or something. But if you get a chance, check it out. It's called I'm Sorry. It's on Netflix. It's really good. I really liked it. And I watched The Warriors.
Good. That's good. A little research. You do a lot of research too for the Warriors?
I actually did a day of research because I always like to bring something to the show.
Won't be
but
wasted.
I'm adaptable, Ralph. It's what I do.
Wojo and Brad, what'd you watch?
Watch.
Come on,
I
guys.
finished Sons of Sam.
Nice. Serial killers.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I watched the last episode of The Handmaid's Tale, which is really good for this season. And I'm still watching Wild Wild Country, and I'm not sure what I think about it yet.
How many episodes are you into Wild Wild Country?
4.
Wild Wild Country?
Where's that on? What's that on?
It's on Netflix, and
It's about the Bhagwan.
The what?
Bhagwan.
Do you remember they took over Antelope
Out West.
out west? And then they did like a bioterror attack on the community that they were trying to take over.
It's a pretty crazy story.
It's
I never
wild.
heard that. I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's funny because the show begins, it tries to make that like the local people were all these xenophobic, paranoid idiots. But then it shows there was a reason why they were xenophobic, paranoid idiots, because these people were legitimately like doing chemical war, biological warfare on them, so.
Wow.
It was a big case back like 89.
I never heard
Michelle,
of
I have a question for you. What did you think in the end of Sons of Sam? Do you think the guy went too far? Do you think his theory was sound?
I think it gave me enough to think about and to wonder. And I think that there were enough people who also, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that there were probably a couple people involved in it. The whole satanic cult thing, I mean, that was big back at that time, whether it was being done or not. It was being talked about a lot. So I found it fascinating. Anytime there's something that makes me think and brings up a different angle, I think that's worthwhile. So was it that way? I don't know. But it made me think enough. So
Brad?
Did you watch anything else?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not really.
That's terrific. Drew, what do you got?
Well, the first thing I'll mention is something that I didn't watch yet, but I don't know if you guys remember. We talked about.
Oh, by
it
the
on
way, let me back up. This is literally officially your 1 year anniversary, right? This one.
Yes,
You brought that up
tomorrow is
last
the
week.
actual day, but
Right.
today is the.
I can't
episode
believe we've done a year
anniversary.
of these. That is quite amazing. John, you came on a little bit before that.
Yeah, but we didn't celebrate it, so it doesn't matter.
That's we'll
Well,
go
I'll say, you're welcome. And if you recall in What We Do in the Shadows, there was a scene where these two police officers come to investigate, and they get basically hypnotized into not seeing the actual dark magic monster stuff. Well, they got their own television show called Wellington Paranormal, which is finally coming to America. It will be on HBO Max starting July 12th. It's by the same people. It's supposed to be very funny. I have not seen a frame of it, but I hear good things, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I watched a bunch of good stuff. A couple shows that I really like came back, like Dave, which is on FX on Hulu, and Evil, second season on Paramount Plus.
There's second season of Evil.
Yeah, just premiered. Check it out.
Oh,
it's
that
very
first season
good.
was awesome.
It's a very good show. It's very cool. It's very and apparently because they moved from CBS to Paramount Plus, they have a little more leeway with the dark things. I don't know exactly what that looks like, other than I guess boobs and blood, but that's fine.
I like half of that.
I watched a couple of new shows that I really liked. One was Physical, which is new on Apple TV Plus. I got the 7-day trial.
Not the John Travolta.
No, it's with Rose Byrne. It's
Yeah.
a woman who's having some troubles in her marriage. She's married to Rory Scovel, who's I love him. And it's about her struggling with her eating disorder, and maybe aerobics will help her or hurt her. And it's actually
Oh,
really
I
good.
heard about that one.
Really good. And Hacks, the Gene Smart show on HBO.
We were watching
I just
that.
finished that last night. It's very funny. But the one I really liked is not new. It started in 2019, and it really touched my nerd heart right in its cockles. For All Mankind, which was a launch series for Apple TV Plus with Joel Kinnaman, which is an alternate history show by Ronald Moore, who did Battlestar Galactica and Outlander and worked on Star Trek Next Generation. And basically the Russians got to the moon first. And then what happens next in this alternate version of history. I think if you don't know anything about the space program, it's a good series. It's entertaining. If you love that stuff with your big nerd heart like me, it's really cool to see what they do and what they play with and how they change things. And even the things that like that people landed on the moon and all that stuff, there's real suspense and real drama with it. So that's the one. The second season, I think, just ended a couple of months ago, so I have more of that to get into. But if you're a nerd, you really should be watching For All Mankind.
Is that's on, you said Apple TV? Apple,
That's on Apple TV also.
Apple, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we don't get all the services, do we, baby?
Yeah.
That one's only $5 a month. So if our week trial is up and we still want to watch Physical, which I think we will, then I'll keep it for another month.
All right, Sean, Debbie.
Well, Debbie, we watched what is it, Dirty John last week, and we didn't watch season 2 because we had to pay for it. But then Debbie turned it on,
And we
and
got
it was
for
free. So
and guess what? It all ties into Fatal Attraction.
yeah,
Wow, it
really,
does.
This
I
one
mean,
Betty, oh my gosh, we're watching
I
it,
haven't seen it.
Betty Broderick.
it's the Betty Broderick
and I didn't
story.
know Betty
No spoilers.
Broderick's story. I remember the name, but I didn't know precisely what the deal was. Sean came out, we're watching it, and he comes out and Googles it and finds out. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is so familiar to me in so many ways. It reminds me of my second husband. And
I'm the third.
He's the third and the fourth.
I'm the third place trophy husband.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
lucky
my
lady.
trophy. He usually pulls his shirt up and shows his muscles. His big muscle.
You don't have to.
No, he doesn't have to. No.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Family programming.
You don't have to
It's
wear
fine.
the red dress anymore, Rob.
That might get us a couple of likes.
Yeah,
That's streaming on Netflix, right?
I'm not sure where it's streaming. Part 2 is.
But this Betty is so powerful and so, it's so heartfelt. I mean, for me, I just see her and
I think she's sympathizing with her too much.
oh my
I
God.
think
Well,
I'm
I
in
mean,
trouble.
I put my mindset on her, and I just, I love this character, and I know she's going to do bad things. We only watched 2,
Yeah,
and I stopped myself because I really want to savor it because, and also that I want to, like, it just brought up so many things in my, my psychological stuff that it really, I have to take some time with it, because it's really in there deep.
So while she's taking time with that, I've been watching some Steve McQueen. Watched, I got a Blu-ray set has Cincinnati Kid, which I think is the best poker movie where, Edward G. Robinson. And we finished up watching The Getaway yesterday, which is really terrific.
I didn't like it. I don't like that movie.
Yeah, there's some dark aspects
I
to
just
it.
don't like it. It makes me sick.
I think the ending of it's very sweet at the end, though. Too.
Like car sick?
Yeah, like physically
You know
sick.
what? It makes my whole stomach like.
The
sick.
part where Sally Struthers' husband hangs himself.
That's
that
really
turns
upsetting me.
Oh
Yeah.
you should see that in the remake.
Yeah.
They abuse that poor bastard in the remake.
Yeah,
it just hurts.
Everything else about the movie is lots of fun. It's the good old days when every American car was a muscle car. Like nowadays when they have like a race movie, it's all these like odd brands of cars and all. Back then, all these cars had that horsepower.
This episode brought to you by Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah. Yeah, when you compare like The Getaway with real vehicles, comparing it to something like Fast and Furious, it's like it's
Fast
an
and
entirely
Furious
different
is a superhero movie set. That's all
Yeah.
that is. The cars can't. As we found out, that poor kid got killed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so was that the movie after he and Allie hooked up? That's
where they hooked up. She was married to Robert Evans, the head of Paramount. He made her make that movie.
Yeah.
And he regretted it.
That's why Coppola wanted him for the part in Apocalypse Now, because he knew it'd piss off Evans, but McQueen didn't want to go over in the jungle for that long to play the part that Martin Sheen ended up playing. Okay, that's what I'll talk about. I went down this rabbit hole of Apocalypse Now documentaries, and really makes me want to see the film again.
Which version?
The real one, not the
remaster, not the one.
The redo.
There are 3 of them.
I know. There's a bunch of them. I have a laser disc, so that'll be the first. That'll be the original one.
The theatrical one was definitely the strongest.
I just liked all the backstory and the way Coppola put that thing together, and it made me really want to watch
how it came together. I mean, how did that movie even come together?
Yeah, that it came together.
That's the story.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what he pulled off and how he pulled it off. And the other thing I just found out, I haven't watched all of American Horror Story, but I found out season 9, there's like Camp Crystal Lake. It's kind of
it's so fun.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's very 80s, very.
Yeah. So I think I want to check that out.
It's less serious than some of the
others.
more recent seasons.
Yeah.
It's still bloody and has murder and magic and stuff. It's really good. It's really fun.
All right. Bloody with boobs or just
But less serious murder?
I mean, it's still on television, so there's no nipples, if that's what you're asking.
Speaking of nipples, let's talk about the film that I got to bring, which is 1987's classic Fatal Attraction. No, I'm not quite sure it was a classic when it came out. It was a cultural phenomenon when it came out.
Yeah.
I think retroactively we're looking back and it's a classic. Came out in 1987. What's that?
It was a big hit. It was a big hit.
Yeah. Huge hit. We're going to talk
word of mouth hit.
We'll talk about that. It saved a lot of marriages, from what I understand. A lot of people were completely flipped out. 97, directed by Adrien Lyne, who directed classics like 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance, Indecent Proposal, Unfaithful. He seems to have a theme in his
I was thinking
his movies, which is great. And I'll say, it's a beautiful film.
A look that led to an evening.
We were attracted to each other at the party. That was obvious. You're on your own for the night. That's also obvious.
A mistake he'd regret all his life.
Now, where's your wife?
Hey, honey. Oh, God.
And you're here with a strange girl being a naughty boy.
I don't think having dinner with anybody's a crime.
I've got to see you.
This is gonna stop.
No, it's not going to stop. It's going to go on and on.
She keeps calling the apartment.
Hello?
Every time Beth answers the phone, she hangs up. I'm scared, Jimmy.
You play fair with me? Do you have an affair with her? I'll play fair with you.
I don't want to lose my family.
How could you do that?
So you're scared of me, aren't you? You're afraid. Gutless, heartless, spineless. Where's Ellen?
She's gone.
Call the police.
Whatever resentment she's feeling, she's probably got it out of her system. What if she didn't get it out of her system? What then?
Fatal Attraction.
I guess you thought you'd get away with it. Well, you can't.
Forget what's going on in the film. It's beautifully shot. The scenes he shoots in the apartment, the scenes he shoots in New York City are just really, really, really nice and frame it quite well. But I think everybody knows, the classic. Michael Douglas plays
Girl.
Michael Douglas plays Dan Gallagher. Has a little flirty with
Alex
Glenn
Forrester
Close as Alex Forrest. Glenn Close, who nobody wanted her to play this part. She kind of had to prove that she could do it, both with her looks and acting the part that she had to act. She took the script to a couple of psychiatrists to say, is this legitimate what this woman's going through? Is there something that's, and two of them both agreed that yes, this is definitely, there's a lot of mental illness in this film that wasn't talked about, I think, when the film came out, because they played her off as such a villain. And really that's the whole point of the film ultimately, is that there's a bunch of villains in this film.
Michael Douglas is the villain to me.
I agree with that, but particularly she came out and I don't know if you guys know about the alternative ending of this film.
No.
Would have made it a completely different, darker film.
Oh my God, is it Cinema Paradiso all over again?
No,
It was never released.
They shot it and they did test screenings and they decided to go with the ending that they created. Glenn Close fought it right up until the day she had to shoot it. As a matter of fact, the actress Ann Archer didn't want to do it either. Michael Douglas said, as a producer, he's got a producer's mind. He's like, look, our screenings are going terrible. They don't like what happened at the end. I'll explain what happened at the end of the other one.
Did they make her get together with Ducky? Was that what happened?
Ducky. What is that reference? Is that Pretty in Pink or something? What is that? No, I don't know if you. So the end, like Sean and I were talking before we get on.
That would have been a great ending.
There's that whole Madame Butterfly theme that goes on in the film, right? So the alternate ending. Everybody knows how this movie ends with Ann Archer shooting her in the tub and all that. The original ending was Alex goes home and kills herself with the knife that they had that fight with. Literally slices her throat. And when the detectives get there, his fingerprints are all over the knife. And he gets dragged away and goes to jail for her murder.
Oh, yes. I would have loved that.
That would have been a great ending.
That's right. But audiences, obviously the cathartic ending, cathartic ending that we had is what everybody wanted. So anyway, we all know this film. And I agree with Wojo that the villain of this film is Michael Douglas. Now,
Absolutely.
Obviously, there's a term called bunny burner in the UK for women who are clingy and all this stuff. I mean, obviously it was a cultural phenomenon. And as John showed us, he sent us that link to the Saturday Night Live thing where Alex Forrest is in a therapy group session. Very funny. So it became very iconic, this kind of I won't be ignored thing that she was doing. And I want to talk about, and Wojo, we can start with you since you brought it up so quick, the theme of him being the villain and what he did to for all this stuff to happen. It really all was his fault. I mean, obviously they're two adults. They're they agree that they're discreet and all that, but so go ahead. I want to hear you.
Yeah, she lied. She was not discreet.
Well, she was discreet. She just a little clingy. Go ahead, Woj.
I see Michael Douglas as the villain in this because, and let me say this. When I first saw the movie, which was a long time ago, I, as everyone else, I thought, oh, well, that Glenn Close, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, if you go out, he went out, he screwed someone out of his marriage with a stranger, basically it wasn't like it was someone he was having an affair with, a long-term thing, you takes your chances, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think they made Glenn Close the villain. And quite frankly, she had mental illness. He didn't know that. She whacked out and, he had no idea what he was getting into, and it's his fault. It's absolutely his fault. So Debbie, you're shaking your head no. So it was okay he had an affair?
No, it certainly wasn't.
He doesn't deserve to die for it.
No, I mean,
jail.
during the time, the 80s, you remember the 80s?
Barely,
What,
but
you're
yeah,
12.
go ahead.
But I mean, when you were in the 80s, there was a whole different world out there. And we've had, mistakes. You make mistakes in your life. I certainly have made my fair share of mistakes. But as far as seeing him as a villain or, going to be worthy of getting blamed for her death, here it is, Perfect Good Woman again. What was that movie we watched?
Promising Young Woman.
Oh, man.
Promising Young Woman. Here, this is the same theme,
She didn't go out looking for trying to prove anything. She was just, they both agreed that we're adults and let's go have a, fling. But he didn't have to. He didn't have to.
Getting punished for some kind of sexual activity, but everybody in reality, sex happens. You don't have to be married. It's
doesn't make it right.
Well, again, it came out in 87. I don't know if AIDS was still pretty heavy in late 80s,
was.
right?
Yeah, it was.
So there was also that
Absolutely.
thing, you go out and you fool around, there's a potential you're going to get AIDS and die. I mean, this was sort of an allegory for that
Exactly.
too.
And the thing is that, I still am going to see him as the villain in this. I just am. He opened up his life, himself, whatever. I don't care how small it was. But, when you're an adult, when you're a grown up, you make choices. He made a very bad choice. And because of that, you go with the consequences that come of it. I mean, we're not talking like a 15-year-old. We're not talking a 20-year-old. We're talking a grown-ass man who was married and had a kid. And if he can't, keep it in his pants, that's the way it goes. I'm sorry. That's just how I say it.
No, I don't disagree, but things happen, and sometimes mistakes happen. And what? Go ahead, John and Drew. I want to hear. Go ahead, John. You're shaking a lot.
Well, I think as far as gang violence, it really after this movie came out, it really increased the gang violence.
It's a poor tenant imitation,
and I wasn't happy about it. I knew, when you picked this movie, I knew exactly where this was going to go. So I want to talk about the fact that this is a misogynistic movie, and as a lifelong feminist, I think it's the way he treated her and the way they treat women who are career women. That's what this is really an allegory about. If you want to be a career woman, we're going to take you down. No, so let me tell you what I really think about this movie.
There's no punchline to that joke?
No. First of all, Glenn Close, who never played anything like this. If you look at her roles prior to this, she played Mother.
Her first role?
No, it wasn't her first.
No, I'm saying her first role was Garp, right? Where she played
was a theater actress.
70-year-old woman or something.
And every other actress in town, well, half of them wanted this role more than anything. Half of them wanted nothing to do with it because they said, you can't make this script. And she kept fighting for this role, and they wouldn't let her read for it because they said, look, we don't want to bring you in here. You're an accomplished actress. We're not going to hire you because you're just not right for this part. And she agreed to do an on-camera audition because she says, I don't have an ego about auditioning. I mean, I want to show them that I could do it. And she said, but if I'm going to do that, which was very rare for someone like that, I have to do it with Michael Douglas. And Michael Douglas agreed. But they all said, it's kind of futile because you're just not right for this part. And within 20 seconds, she had the role. And she came in looking like she was in the movie. She, teased her hair up. She looked very different than she normally looked. So from that perspective, her performance is just amazing. And she never looked at her character as the villain.
No, she did not.
She never looked at it that way. Now, it turned into that. Now, also to clarify something, there were 3 endings. The first ending, he gets arrested. He goes to the electric chair. That's the end. That was the original. The second one, they brought in Nicholas Meyer to redo the ending. And that ending, he gets arrested. The wife finds the recording that she made when she talked about killing herself. She brings it in as they're about to electrocute him. That's the second ending. The third ending is the one that was in the movie. Michael Douglas is the one who said, because in all the previews that they did, people were into the movie. And the thing about Michael Douglas's role and why Brian De Palma was originally supposed to direct this, and he said, if Michael Douglas is the lead, I'm not going to direct this. So it's him or me. And the two producers, Michael Douglas was there from a 5-year period when they started developing the script. They said, well, you're out. We're going to stick with Michael Douglas.
Why didn't he want Michael Douglas?
Because he said he won't be sympathetic. Oh. And the reason why the movie worked as well as it did, other than Glenn Close's performance, is because the mistake that Michael Douglas made, the bad thing that Michael Douglas made, ultimately throughout the movie, he becomes a sympathetic character.
He did,
even though he did something bad. That's why the movie worked. It wouldn't have worked
any
other way.
Everyman.
But it wasn't just the Everyman. Now, the last thing I want to say, the ending. The previews were fantastic up until the ending. They hated it. They said the room went, the air was let out of the sail.
The other two endings.
Michael Douglas said, look, we need a different ending. They want to see her get her comeuppance. Right. And the comeuppance specifically was the line in the movie when the mother says, if you come after my family again, I'm going to kill you. That's what they wanted to see. Yeah. And Glenn Close fought it and fought it and fought it. She did not believe in it. She didn't want to do it. She thought it was wrong for the character, but she did it. And if you look in the scene, she's all in. It's not like she didn't try because she didn't want to do it. And it's why the movie ended up being a hit. That's what the audience wanted. They wanted the breath at the end that it's over. And that's how they got.
And John, why they wanted her to be punished. Number one reason.
Well,
he took the 6-year-old to a.
That's the thing. And Sean said it earlier. You can certainly call Michael Douglas the villain, but you can't say that the punishment
that's the biggest
the crime.
Don't bring the kids.
She went after the daughter. She went after the wife.
Yeah.
She went after the
rabbit. Killed the rabbit.
The rabbit.
And then in the original ending, he gets electrocuted.
Now listen, here's my theory.
That would have been great. Oh my God.
About the rabbit. Okay, now you guys you might not remember this, but an old test for pregnancy was
rabbit test.
Right.
Rabbit. You remember that, you guys?
It was a movie.
Billy Joel sings.
I know of it.
Okay, so this was a test. So you have the blood and then you put it into a rabbit. If it has the HCG, which is a human choreographic
we trust you.
Stuff. I can't remember half of it, but this was an old test that we used to do. So I mean, not I didn't do. I was antiquated by the time I was in med tech school, but there was a test. So you killed the rabbit, and that was so fascinating that they used that metaphor, of killing the rabbit because she was supposed to be pregnant. You don't mess with children like that. You don't take a 6-year-old and put him on a daggone.
And that 6-year-old was good too, the way she reacted.
Yeah, and we've got a 6-year-old.
41 now.
Yeah, I saw it at documentary. One other thing I want to say about the director. 41 now. The only thing that was shot on a set, and it actually wasn't a set, but the tub scene at the end. They had to have like an aquarium so they could look inside it. All the stuff they filmed, there were no sets. He doesn't believe in sets. So everything was done. Every shot was on location somewhere, which made it, if you heard the documentary, the crew, it was very difficult for the crew because in New York, everything's small and cramped. So they had trouble getting in all the equipment and all that stuff. But like even the sink scene, their first sex scene.
Yeah.
It was originally shot for the bedroom. So all the camera equipment, all the lighting is all in the bedroom. The director's talking to one of the set guys, or the cameraman, I think it was, yeah. And they're talking like for 45 minutes while they're setting up. And that was an on-the-spot change. He goes, look, I don't want to shoot that because that's what Adrien Lyne does. Yeah. He goes, let's shoot it over here. I think it'll be more passionate and a little interesting. So that's what that shoot was like, the entire shoot.
And if you think about that scene, this first sex scene where she's reaching back, her idea to get the water.
Yeah.
And then they have the fight scene in the same kitchen.
Right.
Same thing happens. They lean up, they're banging against that sink and she's pulling, water's coming up. I mean, it's just an amazing, smart movie making.
Yeah.
Alex, you talk about the kidnapping of the girl. The woman was mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, you don't excuse what's going on, but I mean, that was part of what
You understand that, but you don't. You.
I got it. I got it. So, Drew, what do you got to say? Anything?
Well, I mean, there's two things with this movie. First of all, Glenn Close has spent the 30 some years since this movie regretting that ending, saying this character's clearly not well, and it doesn't excuse her actions, but the way that the movie ends leaves her with no sympathy. And the way that the movie ends also, I think, is disappointing for a movie, because it's one thing for the audience to say, I want something to happen, but she becomes like a Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers type of monster.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about the movie, I don't really care for the movie, but if you like the movie, it's because it feels real, because it feels like real people, real emotions, real danger. And the real danger of like somebody taking your kid, breaking into your house, all that stuff, that's all terrible, but you could all imagine it. That at the end she turns into like literally a cartoon monster type of thing almost.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
Is she dead? No,
Right.
she's not dead.
But
you
that's
know?
the only reason the movie was successful.
No, I know. I get it. It was a $14 million movie that made $300 some million, and he's made the movie several times more. He made Unfaithful, Adrien Lyne, and his new movie is called Deep Water. It's a Patricia Highsmith novel with Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas, and it's about a married couple who permit each other to have extramarital affairs, and then there's murder. So it's the same movie again.
Yeah.
So, and he made Lolita, so we know what he's into, but.
He has not made a movie in 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm curious to see what he does.
Well,
with that.
he
And Patricia
has,
Highsmith
like,
is
the town.
talented, Mr. Ripley, and you know she's a wonderful writer and storyteller. Yeah.
He was supposed to direct The Town, and that fell apart.
Oh, I didn't know that.
After years, and then he was going to do a movie with Nicole Kidman. For years, they were developing it, and it fell apart. So, you know, because to me, the most amazing. Well, before I get to the movie, let's say a little bit of Adrien Lyne, because he was very hot, and he had his wheelhouse. And his movies were making money. Even 9.5 Weeks didn't do well at the American box office, but it was a monster.
Well, he also did Flashdance.
Yeah, Flashdance.
Which was a huge hit.
You know, so, I mean, but for a guy like that, and I saw most of his movies in the theaters, you know, including this one, strangely. And
I didn't. I was 11.
Yeah, and then it's so odd because it's like, what the hell happened to him? I was wondering if it was a scandal, but it was just typical Hollywood. You know, you're working on a picture, and it falls through. You know, you've worked on it for 5 years, and then it doesn't happen. Then when that happens 2 times in a row, suddenly it looks like you're retired. But you know, I saw this film. I really didn't see my complaint's the same as Drew's complaint, is that it becomes a different movie in the end. And the original ending, whether it was happy or not, at least would have worked, because everything in the script builds to the moment. To the Madame Butterfly moment.
Yeah, Ralph, what you were addressing earlier was the Madame Butterfly. It's so powerful, but you know, what do you say about that? Well, how did that change our culture? What
it changed is that people didn't want to cheat on their wives.
Yeah, this movie, I mean, that became a thing. Alex Forrest, that became a thing. You know, the clingy woman, the I'm not going to be ignored. You know, it's a spoof. It's a meme. It would have been a meme back then, right? And Saturday Night Live
really freaked guys out. I remember this.
Well, Glenn Close kept getting letters from women saying, "You saved my marriage, thank you." I mean, she was literally getting letters from people saying,
"It's good when you can help people."
Nobody wanted to step out. I mean, and you know, I have a different. I want to, when you guys are done, I want to have a little appreciation about Michael Douglas. But go ahead.
Well, I do want to say another thing before we get to the movie itself, is that Michael Douglas has made a tremendous career of playing unlikable people. Gecko from Wall Street. Yeah. You got what's his name, Van something or other from The Game. You know, I mean,
defense. What's his? What's that movie?
Yeah, Defense and Falling Down.
Yeah.
Disclosure.
Yeah, Disclosure.
He was shooting Wall Street the same time he was shooting this, so he's doing half the time there and half the time doing this one.
Oh.
And he won the Oscar for
he won the Oscar for Wall Street. Yeah.
So
Michael Douglas.
I got to admire this guy who doesn't come begging for sympathy. You know what I mean?
The other thing is, like John was saying, okay, what Michael Douglas did in this film, I don't know if it was him or the director, the scene like where he picks her up in the kitchen and he drags her to the bedroom and he's tripping over because his pants are stuck, right? They humanized this guy. They made him an everyman. That scene in the elevator where she goes up and she's giving him the blowjob in the elevator. The best part of that is when he's looking up and the elevator stops and he sees somebody walking by, right? And you just see him looking up, completely eyes wide open. It's just they turned him into an everyman, and we all, everybody.
Well, remember the first scene where they met? He's eating a bagel and gets cream cheese on his nose.
Yeah.
So she tells him to wipe it off. That was an endearing thing.
It's all the little things that the director, like the little girl getting on the phone. It's just the scene where she's pulling the roll of those roll candy, whatever those things are.
Then he's doing it later.
And he starts eating that stuff later. Yeah, I just think that they let him off the hook because he got her pregnant, and
I don't think they established that.
Let him off the hook
by killing her.
That she was pregnant.
The rabbit died.
He didn't kill her.
He called the doctor.
Yeah.
He called the gynecologist. The gynecologist congratulated him. Yeah. No, he got her pregnant.
Okay, so that was a scene there.
In the subway. Well, he called. They didn't show him on the phone, but it was exposition where he said, and he's talking to his friend there down the Stuart Patkin, that guy.
Pankin.
I must have missed that.
His lawyer buddy
totally got off the hook because he was fine at the end, and his wife took him back.
Well, ultimately, that's what it looked like. Yeah, it looked like that.
Yeah,
all back
he totally got a pass.
Well,
when he really didn't deserve it.
I think it was also kind of cowardly that they let the wife kill her.
Yeah,
you get the satisfaction of for those who want to see him kill her.
No, that's what made it. No, I totally disagree.
It's
the wife back and her husband.
Yeah, it's
yes, of course.
That's the whole
that whole ending
stuff. Here's where I feel
the wife protecting her family. It wasn't about her husband.
She's fighting for her family. She's fighting for her family.
Yeah, I love
flawed. Her husband is flawed.
Yeah, but you look at that now. They do that checkoff.
Her love for her family, not just her husband. We're talking about a woman's love for her family.
I know.
That is so rich in
it's a American rich cliche is what that is. That's a cliche. It's a rich cliche. It's a trope.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And they used it well. I'm not saying they were right. If they want a successful movie, they did the right thing. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they want a good movie,
that's what it feels to me.
What a woman will do for her family.
It feels false.
I totally agree with you. When I found out about that other ending and I saw what that other ending was, I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. That's a good ending. It's dark and it's frustrating and it's life, right? It's like
that's Madam Butterfly,
right? It's like her last thing. She right up till the end. She got America. I don't think I would have liked it. I probably would have hated it because I love the woman. That was very cathartic. I'm not going to lie. I was into that. But
and we all are crazy people. We all are sympathetic for crazy people, right? We love our crazy people.
Okay.
Need help.
But
you just don't mess with the family, especially a 6-year-old, and that's where.
But Michael Douglas put his family in jeopardy. He did.
Yeah, he was the one who put the family in jeopardy.
I'm not saying he didn't.
Okay.
I'm not saying he did, but we've
don't let him off the hook.
Haven't we all been there, ready to step out, but we don't? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Have we ever done anything
Debbie,
like that?
We're going to have a talk after this.
Well, you know the story, right? You know why it's so.
Patreon, save it.
Yeah.
There has never been a crazy woman in my house trying to kill me or my wife. So the answer is no.
I'm gonna
still young.
Yeah, but we've had a few crazy men that
Before I do my Michael Douglas appreciation that I'm about to do, Drew always talks about wanting to do a podcast about how mental illness is portrayed in films, and you mentioned that Glenn Close is very, very serious about the fact that this woman was mentally ill, and that kind of gets lost in this stuff. Why don't you throw a little? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, it's not lost in the movie. In the movie, she's the monster villain, and she, has been very frank about her own experience with mental illness, and she runs and supports a nonprofit about taking the stigma away. She's talked about her own battles with depression, all that kind of stuff, and so she thinks that this movie does a disservice to that kind of thing, the people that have those kind of problems like herself, because it says this lady's crazy, that's a monster, which is just, I mean, I'm not even insulted by it. It's just dumb. And I mean, the other problem with the movie is that it's so well made. I mean, this is a movie that got 6 Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
It was edited by Michael Kahn. Michael Kahn won Oscars for editing Raiders of the Lost Ark, Schindler's List, and Saving Private Ryan. Like, these are people who
It's a
know
beautiful film.
what they're doing. It's well done. Adrien Lyne's movies, love them or hate them, they are, like, you know, sumptuous, beautiful, sensual movies. But I don't know. I think I don't feel that strongly about it just because I don't like the movie very much. I understand why it was a hit. I also understand that a lot of men making this movie would like this kind of ending where they essentially, I cheated on you, but look what she did. She's so much worse. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you were 11. I was in my first marriage.
Well, I didn't see it when I was 11.
So
I don't.
It came out. I saw it in '87. So.
Yeah, I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it later, and I don't remember. I mean, I didn't think my reaction wasn't in these terms or in this language or anything, but I remember thinking, well, that ending was dumb.
Yeah,
it just turned into like a monster horror movie thing. And
I didn't. Yeah,
I didn't like that.
I didn't think it was dumb at all.
Okay, about mental illness.
Oh, Christ.
I sympathize with mental illness because we have family members that are mentally ill. We
Okay.
do. I mean,
Everybody does.
and everybody knows a mentally ill person,
You sure do.
and God bless them. You
So
know,
then you
we hope
think.
they get help, but don't mess with 6-year-olds.
No, I understand.
That's where you're gonna get
that.
All right.
Oh my God.
Listen, the acid on the car, the cut in the bunny's throat. Yes, obviously,
some things don't. You know,
that just set up the whole. And you know, when she gets shot, she deserved to get shot at that point. I just think.
or institutionalized.
Okay.
Can't let that happen
Yeah.
in our society. Deal with that.
Now, how about perms? Did it bring perms out? Did people start getting perms because of that?
I know I did.
People were already
They were
getting
already getting
perms.
perms earlier. in
This was the
yeah.
end of the 80s. What do you think?
Oh yeah, this was 87.
People were getting perms.
87 was the year of the
Crazy.
hairband. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, I can smell the chemicals.
I didn't think that, Stuart, what's his name? John Patkin.
Hankin.
And his girlfriend there. I've seen her in a lot of stuff, his wife or whatever. I just didn't believe that they were really friends with those two. There was something phony about that thing. I don't know. Anyway, I want to do, before we talk about anything else, a little appreciation for Michael Douglas's run around that time, okay? This is all within that same 1987 to 1994. Fatal Attraction, Wall Street, Black Rain, War of the Roses, Basic Instinct, Falling Down, and Disclosure. I mean, talk about a run with a guy.
But this is the one that kicked it off, because prior to that, he did Romancing the Stone, the China Syndrome, and Star Chamber. So, and he was 40 years old, and he wasn't known as an actor as much as he was known for a producer.
Yeah, well, he started in, remember, Streets of San Francisco.
Yes,
right?
right.
but
I'm talking about
he
movies,
produced
though.
Cuckoo's Nest.
This is the
Cuckoo's
one
Nest,
that put him in the next.
No, I
echelon.
agree.
Listen,
And then
He
it
was
did-
better known as a producer. I think they took
yeah, he was. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I mean,
And
it
it's
was all-
you're right. It started the run, but Wall Street was the same year, and that's what he won the Oscar for. And I just find him, especially during this time, and Disclosure is another one that I really. It's not a great movie, but I actually love it. There's something just that's so in its time with all the internet stuff they were doing, and his same thing, where he gets in a relationship.
It was a good book. The book was
Not to
better.
mention the Kaminsky.
I haven't watched that. I heard he's good in that. The
Brilliance
Kaminsky method.
of his acting ability in the Kaminsky method.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. He's a fantastic,
I totally
fantastic
agree.
actor. He's a fantastic actor.
And he's in your candelabra movie you love so much.
Oh, I love him. He's just
Ooh la la, ooh la la.
But he added a lot of stuff to this movie
He nails
because
it.
he looked at it through the producer's eyes too. You brought
That's
that
what
up
I was
earlier.
going to say. Yeah,
There's quite a few things, like you brought up the thing where he's carrying her off the sink to the bedroom. Well, it was his idea to get the pants caught around the ankles where he kind of had a waddle.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to put some humor into that scene.
Totally did that. That's what he did with that.
There's
The
also a
elevator
scene where she cuts her wrists and he goes into the bathroom to get some bandages. And he wanted to know, is the bedpost, or there's a post in the apartment, is the post in the shot? And the cameraman said yes. So as he's going to the bathroom, he grabs the post to turn the corner quickly. And when his hand comes away, there's a bloody palm print on the post from her blood. So that was his idea from a producer standpoint. And again, changing the ending was his idea, because he said, look, this movie doesn't work if you stick with this ending. And
Look who his dad was, Kirk Douglas.
well, of course.
I mean, really.
but he was on his own. Like we were saying, he produced
Burke, I'm sure.
He
You
well,
know?
he was partners with Danny DeVito too. I think he
Yeah.
had business with him.
Yeah.
So he's been producing for a while. But
Yeah.
and he had to convince Glenn Close to do that. And I think I read it somewhere where she wrote to somebody and said, you should just do it. Oh, William Hurt said, just do it. And since that, she's got ear infections, eye infection.
From the tub scene.
She didn't know she was pregnant at the time she's doing that tub scene, so she was flipping out that maybe she hurt the baby through that. So there's a lot of backstory with that.
Well, that one, okay, now the when she's in the tub and she's drowning, and there's that one oxygen bubble. How did that was reality.
Yeah, there was no CGI in that stuff.
No.
That was
Oh my God. Can you imagine you're laying in the tub.
Well, and they also, Adrien Lyne does all kinds of takes. So she was getting dumped that's why she got the sinus infection. She was dumping in the tub, 15 takes. And they couldn't put nose plugs in. So water kept going up her nose. That's why she got the sinus infection. She had contacts on though, but
the white contacts.
But she was, listen, again, she didn't want that ending, but she was all in on it. I mean, there's nothing held back.
And she's known for this for the rest of her life.
Yeah. And it changed the trajectory of her career because nobody saw her in a role like that.
Yeah.
Well, she had gotten some attention in Jagged Edge, I think.
Yeah, Jagged Edge.
That was after this.
Yeah.
That was
that was before this.
Was it before?
Jagged Edge was 85, I think.
It was? I thought it was after this. I thought she did Garp and one other one before this. No.
She was in The Natural. She was in some other stuff, but
she was think of the Natural. She was.
The Jagged Edge was probably closer, not really closer to this, but Garp and Natural was nothing like this.
Right.
This was.
Well, she's an excellent actress.
She is,
and
that was her point.
Great work.
That was her point in wanting to try at least audition for this, because she wanted to prove no one sees me in this, but I know that I can do it, and she nailed it right from the beginning.
She is.
It's an amazing performance.
She was Michael Chiklis's opponent in a whole season of the show The Shield, when they brought in a couple of different characters.
Right.
He opposed him one season, Forrest Whitaker another season. She's just incredible.
And she did Damages.
But this is the
Damages,
one.
Great show.
Right, you're right. She did Jagged Edge in 85, right?
But you were talking about Michael Douglas, and 90s Michael Douglas with Basic Instinct and The American President and
he was likable in that
Game.
Yeah,
those are all great.
One.
But my favorite performance of his whole career, which is as a character that is both intensely likable and also makes terrible decisions, is Wonder Boys, the movie that he did with Robert Downey Jr. and Katie Holmes, directed by Curtis Hanson. That's maybe one of the most underseen movies for reasons I don't understand.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's Michael Douglas. It's the guy who did LA Confidential. It's just a fantastic movie. It's a great movie. It's about a guy who is reaping what he's sown. But what he's sown is the real consequences of things like infidelity, not leading to murder and break-ins, but I got my boss's wife pregnant, which is Frances McDormand. Like, what do I do with these types of things? And it's very real. And considering that the guy is Hollywood royalty, and was an Oscar-winning producer before he was even a big movie star, he is so real and human and relatable.
Is Tobey Maguire in that? Yeah,
Tobey Maguire's in that. And it was overshadowed. That was overshadowed for him that year because he was in Traffic. Which was a big movie that was also bad, but
what?
I didn't like that movie.
I totally disagree.
Traffic is every cartoonish thing that you could do in that movie. Soderbergh did, which is really disappointing because it was him. But Michael Douglas, this movie again, it's so well done. It's got such incredible performances. It's got wonderful people. You're not surprised to see the people in this movie are still working 30 plus years later and still doing good work. I just didn't like the movie.
I like that he did the sequel to Romancing the Stone, and he did Ghost in the Darkness with Val Kilmer.
Right.
Played that guy. He was
great. And Basic Instinct is the similar tone kind of movie to this, except that it acts like that tone the whole movie.
Yeah. So he was way more aggressive in that film.
The whole movie, like Catherine Trammell is she a monster? Is she being framed? Like, what's going on? But the whole thing is so lurid, and this is in some ways more realistic about having an affair and dealing with that and all that kind of stuff. And then it turned into that lurid stuff. And that's where it lost me, like I've said.
Yeah. That scene where Glenn Close is listening to Madame Butterfly and turning the light on and off. Oh my God.
Oh my
And they're bowling. The way he intercut it between, and he did the same thing with the bunny. With
Yes, they're very subtle.
Yeah.
You
Beautiful.
talk about the editor. The editor did a great job because the way they cut the scene of the bunny being discovered was just really good. But that Madam Butterfly with the light going on and off, and I think that was her choice. But God, it was really good.
Here's a little bunny tidbit. The bunny, they had 3 bunnies, and none of them were gutted. So they had the bunny in the boiler thing, and as Ann Archer went to grab it, the bunny exploded, and the cap went off. The bunny went everywhere. And they ended up having to get a gutted rabbit for that scene, but it exploded.
Oh my God.
Imagine that. We're going right up to it. Oh my God.
Horror movie inside of a horror movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all done with the dead.
And she was super cute. I mean, Ann Archer.
Who, Ann Archer?
Oh, the bunny?
Yeah, the bunny was cute too.
The exploding bunny.
I know the little girl.
That's awesome.
That little girl ended up playing the girl in Christmas Vacation, so I loved her in that too. But
Oh my God.
I didn't know that.
That's the little girl with the long hair. That's
That's
Uncle
the same
Clark.
girl?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She looked very much like a little boy in here.
Yeah,
Wasn't that
with the hairstyle?
wasn't that the Tenet episode?
Yeah, you guys must have missed that one.
I'll tell you,
comes
I thought
together.
Ann Archer, the way when Michael Douglas admitted the affair, the way Ann Archer played that scene seemed to me like a real reaction to something like that happening. Because once she understood what was happening, she goes, "Why would you do that?" That I thought that was. I thought.
Okay, so in that scene where they're fighting and the little girl comes over.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Holding the unicorn.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas is screaming off camera.
I'm going to take that unicorn away.
I'm going to take that away.
By the way, that little girl still has that unicorn.
Yeah.
The actress has that.
I love that Michael Douglas, I think, said after that, well, we had to do what we had to do. He's a producer.
He goes, you got to do what's right for the movie.
So he goes
That's
up,
what he
gives her a
said.
hug.
The girl's bawling her eyes out.
So, all right, well, that's a good one, I thought.
Oh, one thing about that little child that played that. I just got to say this one. Kudos to that little girl. When she's so upset and she holds her throat. That really was like unbelievable.
All the scenes where she's climbing up, answering the phone and playing the piano and eating that ribbon candy, whatever that was, the roll candy. I just thought she was just super cute. And I mean, I played it way up. Every time he came home, she runs down the hall. And
Daddy.
Did anyone notice that the babysitter was, what's her name from 30 Rock? I think that was her. The blonde that,
Jane
Krakowski?
Yeah, I think that was her.
Really?
Oh my gosh, I know her aunt. I worked with her aunt.
Look at that. Ding, ding, ding. What?
Hey, but
I think it was her. I think it was her.
My
I'm not 100% sure.
She was a blood banker with me.
Oh.
And she always was bragging about her niece.
Nice.
I don't
Blood
think you should
banker.
throw that out there if you can't confirm.
And she would come over to our house.
Do I need to confirm
play-
before we get off?
Playing the trumpet.
Our fans demand it,
It
Ralph.
was.
Good call,
It was
Ralph.
Jane Krakowski.
Thank you, Wojo.
Confirm.
Look at that. Wojo comes through.
Consider
her
that.
aunt used to play the saxophone in our basement.
She was 19.
All right.
We need to be accurate scientifically, like Dr. Hank Pym.
Oh, Pym particles.
Another Michael. Oh, we're going to start Michael Douglas thing.
Pym particles.
Did
All right.
anyone recognize the guy in the library, the African American guy? Because he looked really familiar to me, and he wasn't listed in the credits.
It's
I'll
funny
send you
you
a
say
link.
that.
I'll send you a link to IMDb. You can look that sort of stuff up.
No,
It's
no,
cool.
yeah. I don't
It's like
like to
all
look
there.
at the IMDb too much before this, because then it's like we just
You mean the guy that's just rolling the books? He's while they're
Yeah.
talking in the back. Yeah.
really familiar.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of who he was though.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's rate this puppy.
What?
Let's rate this puppy, Sean and Debbie.
Oh my
Yippee-Ki-Yay,
gosh,
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
fabulous. Love this film.
I'm going to
Thank
give
you,
it a
Ralph.
thumbs up, even though I felt
It's not a thumbs up. It's a Yippee-Ki-Yay. Yay.
I'm going to give it 3 barrels. I'm going to give it Yippee-Ki-Yay.
All right. Wojo and Brad.
2.5 stars.
I hate all of you. You know that, right? Thank God we only do this every 2 weeks now. Is that it?
I'll give
2.5
it
stars?
a Yippee-Ki-Yay, I guess. Not an enthusiastic.
What do you say?
I'll get it. I'll give it a yippee-ki.
Oh, okay. John?
Yippee-Ki-Yay, yay. Yippee-Ki-Yay,
Hold on. I apologize for the switch, but whatever.
No, it's okay. I enjoyed both movies.
You caught us just before we were going to watch The Warriors, actually.
Yeah,
goodness.
same
We
here.
were about to watch it like
What
That
a
was
blast
close.
from the
Kelly had
past.
never
That
seen
call.
before.
God forbid you watch 2
We'll watch
films.
The Warriors.
Well, no, it was the 8 hours of
I would
prep
have
that I
been
did.
pretty ticked off.
I got a pretty
Not
busy
just the
life.
movie. It's
You
the 8
guys-
hours
We
of
got
research.
stuff to do.
It's amazing how quick
You can't
everybody
just
gets
sit
kicked
around
off.
watching all these
Michael
movies
Beck.
for the podcast.
All right, Drew, what do you got?
Remar.
I don't know if I want to watch this movie again or Tenet. I'll really have to think about it.
Come on,
Anyway,
this
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
was better than Tenet. Please.
Yippee-Ki-Yay. I say Yippee-Ki-Yay. I can't believe how much I like this film. And part of it has to do with the filmmaking. I just thought it was beautiful. And knowing that there are no sets, that really is impressive.
Yeah, in Tenet, they crashed a real airplane, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. And
And the
Warriors, that
performances.
was
The
really
performances
Coney
were
Island.
amazing.
Is
Amazing.
that Coney Island in the Warriors? I think it was.
Yeah, Coney
It's
Island.
actually Coney Island. So
That's where they ended up. Yeah.
all right.
Can
so
you
for the
dig it?
Can you dig it? All right.
That is a fun movie.
That is a fun movie.
Yeah, it would have been great to watch it.
Yeah, I know. You can watch it all you want. All right, so we'll do the wheel of themes.
Yes.
They're films.
We did
Gangster.
do
A million to
Johnny
choose
Brasco.
from.
There's a million stories on the Naked City.
Okay, well there you go. Gangster films it is.
I pick one. That's
Are we all picking a gangster film, or are you?
Well, Joe,
spinning
the
it
way
for-
this works is
Jesus Christ.
themed versions.
Ralph, don't sound like a school teacher, all right?
This
You
is
just
where
sound
we
like a
are.
school
I've been
teacher.
dating
Wow,
Maria for a while, so
You
I
know,
see-
here's
I know
the
it's
thing,
a-
Ralph. You don't have to talk down to me like I'm 5. If you would just make up your damn mind, just pick a format. Pick a format, and we'll follow it. We will do whatever you want.
Okay,
You
the
know
way
what? I
this
think-
format works.
I think we're going to do the show every 3
Okay,
weeks
children,
now.
sit down.
Every
sit
3
down.
weeks.
Here's the way this format works.
Once a
I
quarter.
spin the wheel,
Okay.
a theme comes up, and each one of us brings a
Right.
film we'd like to talk about within that theme.
Like we did with Saturday Night
Okay.
Live. Same thing.
The
like
Saturday Night Live theme.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
And
I'll
then
bring Donnie Brasco.
that's right. And then when we post it, we go to the website and we like it. That's the other thing we do.
Website.
I liked it. You kind
Not even the website, YouTube. You liked it tonight when I told you to go like it.
Oh my God.
So okay. What'd you call me? By the way, what was that?
Condescending.
Condescending.
not
Snot
Yeah.
head.
I am
Okay.
very
As long as
condescending.
he
I'm not sure I'm a
doesn't
snothead, but I'm
mansplain.
definitely condescending for sure.
He didn't mansplain, did he?
No. So gangster films, I think we can pull a few of those off, right?
Gangster films? Oh my God! Please.
Do we each bring 5?
Jimmy Cagney.
Or Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, you know what? It says gangster films only in color.
Oh.
I choose not to participate. I choose not to
it's-
participate. I'm
The
bringing Johnny
wheel's not that
Dangerously.
big.
See, that's so many. All right. Well, there you go. Everybody have a nice 2 weeks.
Bugsy Malone with Scott Baio. Yeah, that'll
No.
yeah,
Oh.
that'll be a good one.
What was the one they did with all kids? Was that Bugsy
That's
Malone?
the one,
That was
Ralph.
Bugsy
Oh.
Malone.
And
Right there.
isn't Jodie Foster in that one
Yeah,
too?
with
Yes.
marshmallow machine guns. Yeah.
That's a
How
gangster
about how about Eastern Promises? Easily the best naked bathhouse.
No, that's
knife
a
fight
shower
ever.
scene theme. That's a
That's
shower
a-
scene.
that's a
theme.
Oh, it's a different one. Okay,
That's got to go on the wheel.
That's a good film.
Yeah.
it's a great film.
We
They're
got
making a sequel.
Godfather, Goodfellas.
Oh, they are making a
Let's
sequel?
not forget
Yeah.
the Long Good Friday.
That's a good
White
one too.
Heat.
Oh, you're bringing them all up. This is
White
crazy.
Heat's a great one.
What's the other one Cronenberg did? The two
A
guys.
History
the
of
twins?
Violence.
The Craze.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not. Yeah, no, he didn't do that one, but he did A History of Violence, which is about a guy who may be hiding from the mob or not.
That's
We
a
don't
good
know.
William Hurt.
Based on a graphic novel.
No, Mom.
Who
Well,
directed
everything
The
is.
Craze? That wasn't.
I don't think
No,
it was
I'm
Cronenberg.
thinking of
It was
the
a
other.
British guy.
I'm thinking of the other.
Some like it hot.
The Twin Doctors. What's that?
Some
one?
like it hot.
Oh
That's a
well,
good
Dead
one.
Ringers
Yeah.
is a great
That's
movie,
it.
but not
That's
a
what I'm
gangster
thinking
movie.
about.
Choose that, that's
Cronenberg.
fine.
All right. So listen, everybody has 2 weeks, so there's no complaining about not being able to pick a film, right? Right.
The complaint
and
is
just-
about trying to get one film.
And just know that some like it hot.
Okay.
I think we may know Debbie's choice.
Is that a gangster film?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
Spats?
The mob's all through that movie. Come
Yeah.
on.
I have it. I haven't watched it.
Draft?
Oh
It's got
my
the
God.
greatest. Got the greatest last line in movie history, though.
Of
Oh.
course it does.
That
I
is
love that line. So
not
The
everybody.
Craze is by Peter Medak,
nobody's perfect.
not David Cronenberg.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for that. All right, everybody. Have a good couple of weeks
Yes.
and
Hey.
bring some gangster films and let's let's talk about. We had Donnie Brasco,
Subscribe.
so we can't do
Subscribe. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Hit the notification button.
And be sure to like.
Definitely hit the like button.
Watch the Warriors.
Stream Quest and Movie Strange Show.
Yeah, but don't watch Cue It Up.
No.
Oh.
I am going to cue it up.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
We love
We good?
I think that is
We
one of
love the
Debbie's
brothers.
favorites.
You want
thank
you want to take this out with a Warriors banging on the glass? No.
I wish I had Little Pony so I could really do it right. All I have is plastic. Warriors come out to play. I love that scene.
All right.
Improvised. Totally improvised.